So a bit of breaking news. A senior Hamas commander has said that the group's control over Gaza has completely collapsed. That's a quote. A senior Hamas commander, quoted in a report published Sunday, according to the Times of Israel, said that the terror group has lost control of around 80%, that's 80% of the Gaza Strip, and that there is, quote, barely anything left of its military structure after 21 months of intense fighting with the Israeli military. The report, published by BBC News, was based on a number of voice messages sent to the British outlet from a senior officer in Hamas, identified only as a lieutenant colonel who was wounded in October 2023. Quote, let's be realistic here. There's barely anything left of the security structure. Most of the leadership, about 95%, are now dead. The active figures have all been killed, the senior officer reportedly said, so really, what's stopping Israel from continuing this war? The commander claimed that the war, quote, has to continue until the end. All the conditions are aligned. Israel has the upper hand. The world is silent. The Arab regimes are silent. Criminal gangs are everywhere. Society is collapsing, he said. He said since the end of the latest ceasefire in March, Hamas's security controlling Gaza, I'd say totalitarian death cult control, has completely collapsed, totally gone. There's no control anywhere, pointing to extensive looting of a Hamas complex with no intervention. Looting, the only looters here, by the way, are Hamas, who loots the aid that's meant to be for their people. So he says, the security situation is zero, Hamas control is zero. I'll keep continuing, by the way, in a second, but doesn't this justify, validate, give credence to Israel's whole operation and this long war, people saying enough's enough already? It looks like the aims of this war are gradually starting to bear fruit and be achieved now. Quote, he said, there's no leadership, no command, no communication because Israel is getting rid of them, getting rid of the senior Hamas fighters. Quote, salaries are delayed and when they do arrive, they're barely usable. Some die just trying to collect them. It's total collapse, he said. While the officer quoted in the report claimed that Hamas had lost control of some 80% of Gaza, the IDF has said it controls around 65% of the Strip, and it's nearing its stated goal of control of 3/4 of the enclave's ground area. There are areas of Gaza where the IDF had almost not operated at all, largely out of fear that hostages are being held in the area and could be killed. And while the Hamas commander's estimate is much more generous than the IDF's own assessment, the official could be taking into account the recent rise of non-Hamas militia groups in Gaza, most notably the Abu Shabab clan, which Israel has armed and empowered in southern Gaza. In an interview Sunday with Arabic-language Israeli public broadcaster Makan, militia leader Yasser Abu Shabab confirmed for the first time his forces were cooperating at some level with the IDF and did not rule out civil war with Hamas. The armed group has been seen operating in southern Gaza's Rafah and Khan Yunis and represents the first significant internal armed opposition movement to Hamas's rule over the Strip's residents. The BBC report came as Israel and Hamas are engaged in indirect talks in Qatar in an attempt to reach a ceasefire and hostage release deal, and as the IDF continues to apply pressure in Gaza through airstrikes and ground maneuvers. On Monday, the IDF said that the Israeli Air Force struck dozens of targets in Gaza over the past day, which was a highly successful operation, which I don't think most media reported on. I suspect maybe many of you weren't even aware of this or saw reports on this, unless you're reading Israeli journalism. And what did they do? They reached dozens of operatives, weapons depot, observation posts, and other buildings used by terror groups. The strikes came as five IDF divisions made up of tens of thousands of troops continue to operate across Gaza. During ground operations, the IDF said troops killed numerous operatives and destroyed Hamas infrastructure, including tunnels, buildings used for terror, anti-tank launch posts, and observation posts. It really was highly successful. And in Gaza, the territory's civil defense agency, run by Hamas, reported 12 people killed in gunfire or strikes on Monday. So there clearly is a collapse in Hamas's ability to control things. But I think there's an extra thing as well that's going on here, which is leading to Hamas collapse at the moment. And I want to tell you what that is. But before I do, I want to share with you something really cool that we've just launched. Have a watch. I'm so excited to share with you something that I've been working on for a while. We've just taken JTV content to the next level. Introducing JTV Plus, a new platform streaming exclusive content created and handpicked by me. Get ready for jaw-dropping documentaries, exclusive interviews, insider access, and so much more. JTV Plus brings you captivating stories that will shock and inspire you. Stories that, honestly, I'm discovering for the first time too. From Israel to Jewish history to Judaism, it's all there. In exclusive interviews, you'll hear guests open up about things they've never shared publicly before. Plus, I'll take you behind the scenes where I get a lot more personal with you. By joining JTV Plus, you're not just joining an exclusive community, you're partnering with me to help JTV reach new heights. Just search j-tv.plus and join our exclusive community today. There's a link in the video description. I'll see you there. Honestly, I'm so grateful about the growth of JTV, which is down to you, the viewers. And I think there's been such a high demand for sanity to be reported, and also for Jewish wisdom and Jewish light to be shined across social media and the internet. And I'm just so grateful for all of you being part of this journey of JTV. And if you want to join us on this next stage of the journey, JTV Plus is going to have really extraordinary content, which we're going to be building upon the whole time. It's going to be behind the scenes access and conversations. And it's also a way to support JTV, to help us go to new heights, to invest in even high level production content that can hopefully inspire even more hearts and minds. So do go there. Now, the one thing I wanted to touch on before we finish this video is talking about another thing that's not actually related to what Israel's doing in Gaza, but the fact that Israel is having these highly successful operations in degrading Hezbollah and the Iranian regime. And now we're seeing with the Houthis as well. This is undoubtedly going to have an impact on the morale of Arabs in Gaza, because their whole narrative, they were on a big high after October 7th, that much of Muslim extremist world was, because they thought, wow, this could be the beginning of Israel's demise, God forbid. But now Israel has totally turned the tables. Thank God. And I mean that literally, with God's help. Because now their narrative that this is the beginning of Israel's collapse, it looks like Israel has shown escalatory dominance after all, that they've been able to deter their enemies and counter threats. And so I think that's going to be having an impact as well. The morale is crucial in a war, and it's hard to see how that can't be a bit dented, given everything that Israel's achieved in almost now nearly 2 years since this all began.